Hello. I'd like to call to order this meeting for December 13th, 2022. For the Berwick Select Board, the whole board is present, along with the town manager, the town clerk, members of the town staff, and honored guests. Can we stand for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First, we have the approval of our meeting minutes from November 22nd, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November 22nd.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
All right. All those in favor? There we go. They are approved. First, public comment.
I'd like to say something. As a lot of people in town have heard, and for those who don't, we lost a long-term employee the last couple of weeks. Hokey, he's Neil Hokinson, right? I always have a hard time remembering his name. Whenever I called him Neil, he wouldn't answer. He'd been working for the town at the transfer station for the past 14 years, I think it was. Unfortunately, his health hasn't been great for the last several months, and after a period of illness, he passed away. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence, if we could. Thank you.
And yes, thank you, Hokey, for all your hard work. We really appreciate it. He was a fixture at that station there. I see him every week. I will close the first public comment. We have no public hearing or approval, no reports of committees, no department reports. We do have a couple appointments. First up, we have Code Enforcement Officer, Irish Griffith. Please come to the podium. Just tell us a little bit about yourself for a second.
Pleasure to meet all of you. My name is Irish Griffith. I come to you guys, I got hired away from Wells, where I was a code enforcement officer there. Prior to that, I worked for SACO. When I first started with SACO, they were a shared position with Old Orchard. Loved working code. Prior to that, I worked for the Department of Housing and Urban Development for 14 years, doing inspections as well. Background in construction, done a few house flips, built a house, excuse me, the first house I lived in, done some buildings that were commercial, so a lot of experience. Do any of you have any questions for me?
I'm sure, James, all of our certifications and everything are up to date, right?
Absolutely. Licensed plumbing inspector, and
I have everything except for my local health officer, which is James has, and I'm going to get as a backup, and ADK, which is not required because that's something you get when you have a municipality that doesn't have any sort of attorney that's retained. So those are the only two things that I don't have, and that's because they've never been needed. I have land use, shoreline zoning, both commercial and residential, ventilation, energy, radon, and of course my LPI.
Okay.
I also have experience with lead and asbestos removal and was previously certified for lead dust wipe testing, lead removal, asbestos removal, and supervising asbestos removal sites.
And one thing I'm sure that you have, but just so I can make notice, you also have experience with court proceedings and things of that nature when needed?
To a limited extent, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know how to prepare for them, and fortunately haven't been needed a whole lot. But if you do the best you can, hopefully we can keep my record that way is what I'm going to try and go for. Keep us out of court is my main goal.
Perfect.
So.
That's exactly what we want as well.
Yes. I'm very big on, as James has already discovered, very big on protecting the municipality and all of our builders and all of our residents from any situation that could lead to somebody getting hurt and therefore a lawsuit. I'm very cautious in that aspect.
I wasn't thinking of thoughts of that. It's good information. Thank you. I was thinking code enforcement with maybe landlords, things of that nature.
Yeah, but it always comes back to, primarily for my position, I don't like to give misinformation. That's also a biggie that James has discovered. I'm very strict on making sure proper information is provided, not misinformation. But the core of code is to keep people safe. And if we keep the contractors held to the standards they're supposed to, which code is bare minimum. I like to see them build above code. Most do, to some extent or another. But the end goal is just safety. And if the contractors are building properly, or if John Q. homeowner is building and needs some direction, if we can give them the right guidance, then everybody stays safe, everybody stays happy, and that's a happy municipality too.
Okay. Terrific. Any other questions? I will hear a motion.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Iris Griffith as Code Enforcement Officer, Life Safety Code Administrator, Plumbing Inspector, and Building Inspector for the town of Berwick without term.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I have one question. This is a full-time position, correct?
Full-time position, yeah.
Okay, great.
All those in favor?
Thank you for coming
Congratulations.
forward.
Thank you. I look forward to serving the community.
All right. Our next appointment is Lindsay Howarth to Envision Berwick.
Hi, I'm Lindsay.
Hi, Lindsay.
I'm zooming in.
Lindsay
I
and
just wanted to jump
Jeremy.
in to say, since Lindsay has joined Envision, she has so jumped in with both feet, and without even being a voting member for the last, I don't know, what's it been, about a year, Lindsay? Just done so much and moved the meter in huge ways with so many things, from lawn chairs to merch, and just is always available. Made it work for us to have a booth at the farmers market, and then we killed it with selling merch at the farmers market, and just has really been instrumental in moving a lot of projects forward. And we're really grateful to have you swear in.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
Lindsay, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I moved to Berwick in 2010, and my husband his family's lived here for a few generations, and we moved into his grandfather's house. We now are raising our 2 young boys here, and when I heard about Envision Berwick from Marie, another Envision Berwick member, I thought it was a great way to get involved with the community and just continue building a place that I loved moving to, and that I want my children to be happy to be here and stay here and see the community grow.
Terrific. Are there any questions from the board?
I'll just jump in and I've attended some of the last few Envision Berwick meetings, and Lindsay's been there. And as Jeremy said, she's been adding a lot to it, and she's really shown that she has the best interest of Berwick in her heart. So I'll make a motion that we appoint Lindsay Howarth to the Envision Berwick.
Second it.
Her term expires December 31st, 2025, I think is what it was.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Hooray!
Thank you too, Jeremy.
Yes, thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you all so much.
All right. Moving along, we have unfinished business, the Memorial Field user agreement. James.
So this closes the loop on this project. This was in front of you in September, and since that point, this policy has not changed significantly. There's just some grammatical and formatting. Just looking to have the board approve it so it becomes formalized.
As I recall, and maybe I'm misremembering, but like it was all spelled out, but it needed to go through legal, or just had to go through
Yep.
get all the
We had
checks done.
Tom Irwin's legal team has reviewed it.
Okay.
All right. Did you get any input from any of the groups that use it now? Just general feedback?
Just a general willingness. I mean, we've had discussions on the fee itself, and seems like there is an understanding and a buy-in on the fee for the designated users.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any further questions? Nope. I will hear a motion.
I'll make a motion that the town of Berwick adopt the memorial use field policy on December 13th, 2022.
I'll second the motion for discussion. I have another question.
Yes, go ahead.
So how do these rates differ from the previous? Are they the same? Have they gone up?
So before this was in existence, there was no fee.
Okay, so this is brand new fee.
Brand new fee.
That's
Yep.
what I thought. Okay.
Yep.
And so do these groups, are they aware it's coming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, some of this was implemented this summer, I believe.
Yeah, some of it looks like that, but I'm just saying is, you're about to formalize it, are they aware it's not going to be a surprise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. My understanding is that they've been involved from the start in the discussions,
Yeah.
from with starting back with Angela and
Okay.
through. So
Yeah, I had talked to some people back when we first started discussing the idea of fees and things like that, talking to the cheerleading group, the soccer group, because my daughter's part of those groups, and just asking them what their feelings on the fees were. Their biggest concern was just that, baseball and football, they do a lot more damage to the field than, say, cheerleading. They didn't want to see a higher fee evened out across all the groups, which is which is taken care of in this agreement, where
Yep.
different sports have different rates of pay. And mainly, and one of the reasons that this is important is also to take the burden off Berwick, because more than one town uses our field. We have kids from North Berwick and Lebanon and Somersworth, part of the Berwick Soccer Association, using the field for 2.5 months out of the year, and they're not paying any taxes into the field maintenance.
Right.
So this fixes that situation where it seems like a frustration to parents, but really it's taking the pressure off the town and
Right.
off your taxes and putting it on the people that are actually using the field.
Correct, and
We should pay for the
Pri-
upkeep.
and prior
proper
to,
upkeep.
and that's what a lot of it is. And prior to, and Angela would kind of spitball with me, before we even went into this, and I was like, Berwick's the first town that I've seen that doesn't have a user fee,
Yeah.
for anything else on
Yeah.
top of this. And and as we want to grow and we want to keep using it, we
Absolutely.
talk about the damage of the field and what's been there. And I mean, for those that looked at that Tom Irwin's study prior to anything going on there, how bad the condition of those fields were.
No, I remember the guys coming in I've surveyed 100 towns, and I've never seen a town that doesn't charge for its
Yeah.
field. And we're like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I thought we were just cool. I guess,
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
as we all see, the cost of maintaining the field,
Amended.
price goes up every single year.
Yeah.
So definitely agree there should be a user fee. I just want to make sure we're not surprising anybody.
Yeah.
No,
If
yeah,
they're-
and the big thing I think it does help with, it's flat across the board whether you're in town or not, where
Right.
it does help alleviate some of our tax burden as a town,
Right.
but we're not charging the out of towners more or inflating the rate.
Right, exactly. Yep.
And who approves the herbicides and fertilizer and stuff like that gets put down? Is that Tom Irwin?
It would be recommended from Tom Irwin, ultimately approved by the department, the rec department.
They'll put it down, or do we hire it out?
We hire it out.
Okay.
It's a vendor.
But the recommendation on what mix and
Yeah,
what
yeah.
to use
All right.
comes from the, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right.
Can
That
you-
is approved.
Excuse me, Noah, could you tell me who motioned and who seconded?
Motioned, seconded.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Back to the beginning here. All right. User field agreement is all set. Now, town manager reports.
Just like to recognize Shannon, the rec commission, and the parade committee for an excellent job well done for the parade and tree lighting. I was lucky to be able to be in the parade, but also pull off as my 2-year-old needed a break. So I was able to watch.
He lasted a
watch-
long
Yeah, he
time.
did.
He made it a
Credit,
while.
credit to him. Yeah. But yeah, another well-run event by the rec department. Town hall will be closed on the 22nd and 26th for the holidays. The transfer station will be closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And it will be open on Tuesday the 27th. It's a normal day it's open. And an extra day, Wednesday the 28th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Have an update on the underground oil tank out here. Happy to see the hole is filled in. The frac tank, the big tank out here, will be emptied starting tomorrow. And concrete, the truck will be here to pour concrete, so that helped with the trench out there as well. And I believe paving will probably have to wait till the spring at this point,
Unless we get a warm day, they're still selling premium down in Massachusetts.
unless we get a warm day. Thanks, Jody. The Diamond Head Bridge is scheduled to be wrapping up tomorrow. Just want to thank Terry at BCM for helping to get the word out through all of this time. Scott Construction was dealing with elevated water levels that put some delays into the project and led to some variation in the closings. Terry and I, we did our best to check in regularly and get that word out. One of the last minute things I threw at you was a few suggested items for Public Works to add to the transfer station fee schedule. This includes something for rugs and some, in addition, for a 55-gallon bag of cans. Some of the operators are getting some flack because it's not specifically enumerated in our fee schedule. This helps to get it down on paper to give them more to work with. And I think it'd be perfectly okay if you just want to review it and we can put it on the agenda for the 27th.
I can make a comment on that. I went with a transfer station today and talked to the attendants down there, and we talked about this a little bit. And he explained to me that people are coming in. They had been coming in with loose debris in the back of their pickup truck and being charged a half load or a full load. He said then people started coming in with in barrels, and because it's not in the back of a pickup truck, it's in a barrel. It's not a pickup truck load, and they would argue with the attendants. So that's one of the reasons this has been implemented. So people will be coming in with 4 barrels full of construction debris.
Yeah. Fill up a truck with 4 barrels. The
Yeah.
truck can't hold any more, but it's not a truckload.
Right.
No.
So that's one of the reasons that they want to go with this part of it.
When is it supposed to become effective?
January 1st is what's written on that sheet, January 1st. Oh, wait, that's
I didn't see
2022.
that.
It could be effective. We could. I don't have a proposed time, but we could
Make it
build in enough time to make
I
sure.
think the last time, I think we voted on it last, November? We gave it 30 days, I think, after we voted on it.
Yeah,
So
we had to give
if-
people
it was a
notice.
good-
If
it
you
was a
want to
good
set it
bomb.
up for February 1st.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we vote on it next meeting, then go to February 1st, I'd be okay with that.
Any other items?
That completes my report.
What was that?
I was just thinking that if the rest of the board doesn't have a problem with implementing these fees, is we could vote on it tonight and then be implemented in January instead of February.
But even if we voted on it tonight, you're still not giving them 30 days notice. And I think that's the important thing, is just giving them notice to get it
I
out
think it's
there.
fair to just still leave it for public comment anyways and put it on the agenda. I mean,
Okay.
I don't
Them
know.
come in and try to explain why we shouldn't charge
I know.
for drums. And, give them a fair shot.
Right, exactly.
They might have a great argument that we just can't comprehend, and we should definitely give them a chance. All right, so we can put that on the agenda for next 2 weeks. No select board communications this week. The approval of the accounts payable, payroll warrants. We've got a stack of them today. It's not that bad. I'm sure it's going to go real smooth and easy. Look at it. It looks worse than it is because this one's really thick. All right. We have a payroll warrant number 32 from November 17th, 2022 in the amount of $78,603.59. We have a payroll warrant number 36 from December 1st, 2022, the amount of $73,604.33. We have a payroll warrant number 37 from December 8th, 2022, in the amount of $73,823.54. And we have an accounts payable warrant number 39. Sorry, I skipped one. We have a payroll warrant number 38 from December 15th, 2022, in the amount of $71,133.48. And an accounts payable warrant number 39 from December 13th, 2022, in the amount of $1,041,381.61. I make a motion that we pay our bills.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Bills are paid for another 2 weeks. We are just an efficient machine. All right. New business. We have the renewal of restaurant license for Corner Point Brewing by Jamie Blood. Where is that? Fancy. Yes. All right. So this is just a renewal of all of his stuff. Are there any issues that we should be aware of?
There's been no issues that have been brought to my attention since they opened.
And all fees and everything been paid on time and stuff. All right.
No police department issues down there?
The only issue is just, you got people crossing the crosswalks in all different areas.
Not crossing the crosswalk.
Yeah, wherever. But since they moved their main entrance, it's a better location.
And we're able to approve this tonight, Patty? Or all right. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Make a motion to renew the restaurant. We have to, renew the restaurant license for Corner Point Brewing Company.
Yep, I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right. That is all good there. Next, we have the approval of the Teamsters union contract. James?
This was put on hold from the last meeting. Just we had some typos that needed to be squared away, and our attorney and Tracy, the business agent from Teamsters, have looked at it. Teamsters have already agreed to the contract, and just looking for approval tonight. And this will be retro as of July 1, 2022.
And it'll be for 3 years until ending June 30th of 2025.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Are there any questions for James?
I make a motion we approve the contract as described by the town manager.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Approved. Next, we have CMP pole relocation permits.
So these are two poles right in the downtown. They're in the way of the Edge development. I believe they're being moved 30 feet each. One of them is off of School Street in the way of one of their curb cuts, and then I believe one's on Sullivan Street in the way of where Main Street's going to be. So for now, the poles are being moved. Both Great Falls Construction and the town has worked with CMP for the past year and a half plus to work on an underground utility plan. So that'll be coming over the next year, 2 years, possibly 3 years as it gets phased in. But these poles just need to be moved in the short term to make way for the streets and curb cuts.
And they just need our approval. Is this going to cost the town anything? Back to the town,
No.
Not going to block traffic when they do it. I don't know.
There might be some
They don't have to shut down
general.
the road or something.
No.
No.
Hopefully not. Not unless something bad goes on.
Patty, do you need a motion for each poll, or can we?
No, just one, yeah. It's fine, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the pole relocation for Central Maine Power Company.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? CMP can move the polls. We have the authorization of interim financing DWSRF loan forgiveness.
So this is interim financing, the $247,000 in principal forgiveness from the $1.2 million bond. It's awarded as a grant, and the grant is a reimbursable grant, so we need money to spend to be able to have reimbursed. And the interest for the bond can be paid through our original water bond that the voters approved.
So we're going to use the money from the water bond and pay that money, and then we're going to get the money back in the form of the grant. Is that what you're saying, or did I miss it?
So the interim financing gets us, so we have the $247,000 to be able to spend, and then that is reimbursed through this loan forgiveness grant,
Yep.
and then the interest is paid by the water bond.
Okay.
Sorry, it's pretty convoluted.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. I understand that now. All right. Any questions for James? All right. I have to read a very long piece here for the motion here, so bear with me. I move that under and pursuant to Title 30-A, Section 5772 of the Maine Revised Statutes, as amended and supplemented, there be and hereby is authorized the issuance of a general obligation bond of the town to supplement funding for upgrades to the Berwick Water Plant. That said bond shall be dated December 20th, 2022, shall be payable in one installment of principal and interest payable on June 20th, 2023, and shall be signed by the treasurer and countersigned by the chair of the select board, and otherwise be in such a form and bear such details as the signers may determine. That the town treasurer and chair of the select board are hereby authorized to issue the aforementioned general obligation bond in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $247,000. That the select board hereby confirms its determination that the term of the bond does not exceed 120% of the economic life of the project. That said bond is hereby sold and awarded to Androscoggin Bank at an interest rate of 5.39%. That the said bond is hereby designated qualified tax-exempt obligation of the town for the 2022 calendar year pursuant to the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, that all things heretofore done and all action heretofore taken by the town, its municipal officers and agents in the authorization of said bond are hereby ratified, approved, and confirmed, and the treasurer and chair are each hereby authorized to take any and all action necessary or convenient to carry out the provisions of this voting, including delivering said bond against payment therefor.
Could you repeat that?
Absolutely cannot repeat that. So that was my motion. I made that motion.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank goodness. All right.
See, that's why I gave it.
Yeah, that's
so I
exactly.
would have
You
to
have
do
to read
that.
You know what's funny is for Patty, she just copies and pastes
Yeah,
under the minutes of what you
selects
said.
it all.
Thank you, Noah.
No problem. No problem at all. There were some big words there, but I got through it. All right. We have no quick claim deeds. We do have 4 abatements. And who is presenting those?
How you doing?
Howdy.
All right, so the first abatement we have here is for personal property account 370. It was determined that there was inadvertent data entry errors for the personal property account above reference. The taxpayer filed a timely declaration, and some items listed on their annual declaration were not inventoried correctly in the assessing database. It is recommended that an abatement be granted in the amount of $1,420.85.
Any questions?
Nope.
I'll make a motion that we grant the abatement of $1,420.85 to Comcast of Maine, New Hampshire, Inc.
Second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Next.
All right. The next abatement is personal property account 886. That's NM Curtis Earthworks. It was determined that equipment assigned to the above referenced personal property account has been registered and excise tax paid. Other equipment assigned to the personal property account had been sold and was no longer owned by the business as of 4/1/2022. It is recommended that an abatement be granted in the amount of $4,796.42.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
So I have a question. So when
Yeah.
somebody sells off equipment that's registered as a business, they're not required to report that or anything? Because we're going back and fixing something that they should have told us about so that it could have been done correctly to begin with. Is it just a common thing?
Well, they probably should have told us about this earlier. The personal property in question there had been sold 2 years ago, and I believe that was before they ever applied for a personal property account, or we had picked them up as a personal property account. I believe it was some type of like excavator. And I can't remember where I was going with that.
So they sold it 2 years ago, but it still showed up when they did the assessment?
Yes, because the assessor had looked at the website of the business and saw the vehicle on there when in fact they didn't own it anymore.
And then they didn't notice it for a year.
And then they didn't notice it again or go back out to that property, so the owner brought it to our attention this year.
Okay. Do businesses in town send declarations of what they have for personal property, or?
Yep.
They do, yeah.
Okay. And this person just never filled one out. We just went based on their website. Is that what happened, or?
Yeah.
That's what, yeah, so if a business doesn't submit a personal property declaration, we do further investigation to determine what inventory they have. So I believe the previous assessor had visited the property, and the equipment wasn't on site as it goes to different job sites. And then so they went to the website to look at what they would have there other times. And then it was proven that this piece of equipment was sold but was on the website where they picked it up.
Okay.
So based on what you just said, when they were doing the assessment, they didn't see the piece of equipment, so they went to the website. Did they call the business and ask them, hey, this isn't listed, but it's on your website, do you have it?
I think the business is supposed to, what we have to do is supposed to fill it out.
Yeah, you're supposed to
Right,
fill out
but
the
if they're taking the time to further investigate and go on the website to look things up, then obviously they suspect that there's more equipment out there. Why wouldn't you just ask them before you assess them and then we come back and do this?
Yeah, I believe there was correspondence between them. I'm really not sure what happened, but there was clearly a miscommunication about what equipment was there and what was taxable equipment.
Well, my question would be is do we typically do abatements for people that don't send in their property tax. Like when I had my business in Sanford, and I'd get that form. It said on the form that if you didn't send it in by X date or whatever, you forfeit your ability to appeal whatever declaration they give you. So do we have a similar policy?
You're right, and it does really hurt your ability to get an abatement, but presenting it to you, I think it's important to get these accounts correct. If I was that business owner, I wouldn't want to be taxed this amount for a piece of equipment that I didn't have. But it is certainly up to your discretion. I mean, they did not fill out a personal property declaration. So,
Don't get me wrong, I don't have an issue with doing a correction. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
is why are we doing a correction? If we spent the time to research the company enough to look on the website when you were creating the assessment,
right.
where was the drop? Somewhere in there. But
And also, people fill out your declarations.
right. Yeah.
If you don't want to have this problem,
Alex, I guess that would be my ask, and I know you're coming
Yes.
into the town relatively new. If
Yeah.
you can just kind of, in the next upcoming year, if you can
Yeah.
kind of relay that out to our town to make sure that we're doing our due diligence correctly the first time. I mean, we look at tonight,
Absolutely.
we got 4 abatements in front of us, and this isn't the first time we've had multiple. And again, I know this isn't you coming into this.
Yeah.
But historically, for the last year, I've been seeing quite a bit more build up, so that we're finding
Yeah.
mistakes. So
Personal property is a tough thing to kind of manage and get a true and accurate recording of what businesses have. So there's always some room for error.
okay.
I will hear a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the abatement in the amount of $4,796.42.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
So this next one is for personal property count 853. That's at 398 School Street, and that's New England, Colas. The personal property account was taxed in error, equipment being taxed to individual unit owners. It is recommended that an abatement be granted in the amount of $371.69.
Any questions?
No.
I'll make a motion to grant the abatement of account number 853 in the amount of $371.69.
Second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
So the final abatement we have here is for map U3-49-17. That's on 10 Dobson Road. The subject property is a single-family dwelling on 0.34 acre parcel of land. An outbuilding was taxed as being the incorrect size due to an input error. It is recommended that an abatement be granted in the amount of $191.31.
Any questions?
We'll make a motion to grant the abatement to 10 Dobson Road in the amount of $191.31.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you very much. That's all we got through
you.
those.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
All right. So, second public comment. All right. Now, close second public comment. We do have an executive session tonight for a discussion of personnel. So we will not be making any decisions in that meeting, so we won't be coming out of it. So, are there any other business, non-agenda items people want to talk about?
I thought we were going to hear from the water.
That's in the.
You're going to hold that in? Okay.
Yep. That's in the executive session.
Okay.
Right? I'm not wrong about that. Yeah. The only thing I want to say is that we had the parade this weekend, and it was very well received. It had to be pushed back for weather, unforeseeable events and such, but it went really, really well. We had the tree lighting. The tree looks great, big and bright, and it was a great time had by all. Haven't heard a single word of complaint I'm sure someone has one somewhere, but they haven't been talking. Not talking to me about it. So, but otherwise, it was a great success by the town. Park Rex and the Post was out here doing pictures and stuff, and it was a great
Tree
time.
lighting, yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you for everybody involved. You did a great job. And we'll do it again next year. All right. I move that we enter executive session under Title 1, 405-6A for the discussion of personnel.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Before we sign off, I just want to wish everybody a happy Merry Christmas and all the happy holidays.
Well, yeah, we're not going to see him until after. Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody.